back in the day or whenever it started, they used to say, uh, "Forgive but never forget," and I'm sure they still say that now, right? And I feel like the new spin on that is forgiveness is for you, not for them. So I feel that the person who started, or however forgive and never forget, was probably doing some dirt and got caught. I'm just spitballing ideas and came up with that. And I'll say she, because it was probably a man. She bought it, and it just kind of made its rounds around town. And then like our updated version is forgiveness is for you, not for them. And I think that's a scam.
I think it's two different sayings. I don't think it's the updated version or I think they have
I just be in my head. You're probably right.
two different meanings.
But is it though?
It
Because we're
is.
still talking about forgiveness.
Right. You can forgive them and not forget, but that forgiveness is still for them in that saying. Forgiving for you is something completely different.
But is it? It's still forgiveness.
The topic is the same, but the message isn't.
And I'm saying the message is based off a lie anyway. Because what are you really going to forgive and forget?
Why are you guys so cynical?
I'm not cynical. Whenever I say what I believe it to be true,
It's a scam.
a scam is a scam, and that's how I feel.
When people were finding out that the milkman was dropping D off in his girl, like when women when our
No,
grand
when women needed
when our
men.
grandparents found out that our grandmothers found out that our grandfathers had families on the other side of town. Because at some point, I think what I'm trying to stop saying that. I believe at some point we got to this self-empowerment thing, which has
You
been
said
the
whatever that
kryptonite.
is. It's a scam too.
It's the worst thing that you can have, because self-empowerment also means to neglect what is the bigger picture if it is at odds with what you desire
Yeah, but
at that point in time.
this is
Now,
what I
but
don't.
wait.
Okay.
So now what happens is
Finish.
when we have this self-empowerment motion, the women who did stay with that man who did have another spouse or mistress, I should say, on the opposite side of the town, wasn't because of his doings or who he was. It was because she understood the impact of the family. Nowadays, we are so self-empowered. It's like, you know what? My child will be all right without the mom or the dad there. My child will be all right if I move across or move down south while the other parent is living up north. We'll be all right. They'll figure it out. And we're not realizing that we're literally seeing and dealing with the products of what self-empowerment has caused. This is the ripple effect.
That's not self empowerment. That's just selfish behaviors. That's selfish mindset. Now, you said that no, like women don't care about the bigger picture. When you're talking about forgiving a man for cheating, is he thinking about the bigger picture when he cheats in the first place? You can't put that on women. And you can't put this whole conversation on women not forgiving men anymore. Like it's
I
just not
wasn't
the
saying
same.
that though.
Yeah,
Okay,
and but the thing is, but what I'm trying to say is, what I'm trying to make sure is understood is that there were the consequences of cheating was not the spouse running at that time in comparison to today. So it wasn't the bigger picture was my wife is gonna leave me. That was actually a like crazy outcome.
nowhere in his head.
Like my
she would
wife
leave.
is leaving me is insane. That's not happening.
Well, that's because she probably lacked resources to leave. So
That,
Well,
and, but,
but
and that's
even-
what I was trying to get at. Back
But
in
even
those
if,
days,
but even if, because even post that, right? Even post back in those days, I'm not saying back in those days where they didn't have that ability, because they've had the ability for at least 50 years.
we'll say the 80s.
Even the 80s. Let's go with the 80s, right? The 80s, well, yeah, 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s. But it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is now we've got to this point where running became the new thing that signified empowerment. I was able to run. If you see that he's using, this is the stupid shit that they're saying. If you see that he's using Apple Pay and not a physical card, run, sis. If you see that he's charging that credit card and not his debit card, he don't got money. Run, sis. Like, that's the stupid shit that I'm talking about, right?
Well, those are examples that, that support your argument. True. We're saying run as if it always means something bad. Sometimes people do need to run from these men or from that relationship. Some people do need to run. Okay? Did we say, hello, Harriet Tubman, where are you running to? No, we didn't. She needed to go.
What? Hello, Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman. Like, some people
Adversity.
leave way too easily, but we can't confuse that with every time someone wants to leave. Because in this day and age, it's easier for us to do that. Sometimes it was not easy for people to leave and they had to stay there. Now, in this day and age, yeah, I got my own shit. And that's where that empowerment comes from. Like, I don't need to stay here. And I don't need to put up with this hardship that I'm no longer capable of. I have the resources and I have the ability to walk away from you. And I'm just putting it out there that sometimes there's a difference. Some people leave too easy, but some people just have it.
But like, that's my thing. Removing and leaving is different, right? And we're not confusing them, right? Removing myself from a situation because there's no room for me to grow is not the same as saying, I don't have to tolerate or deal with this, right? And this is just a general statement. And I think I believe what happened is, it's work in progress. I believe what happened is we got access to resources. We got access to the ability to build ourselves. Because everything you said was I, me, I have. And because I, me, I have means, in my mind, I qualify and deserve X. Which also means I don't have to deal with you or any of this. Does that make sense?
It does, but that's not the way that I was thinking, because that would be a part of the problem. People that just leave too easily. But I'm saying that in a situation where I'm in a relationship and we've probably went through a couple trials and tribulations already. We went through some hardships.
Mm.
Now, if I feel like, all right, I don't want to keep doing this because I'm in this relationship, this person's not changing, and there's no room for growth here, and I need to leave, then I can do that.
Okay,
See, it's the need to leave for me. Because that would speak to the endurance of what he's saying. Because just because you're ready to give up and the other person is trying, it's not always going to be where we're both trying at the same time. Because I won't appreciate your effort right now because I'm being stubborn, per se, or I'm just too blind to see that you're trying, or I'm too upset, or you did something that I feel is whatever it is, maybe disrespectful, whatever, and vice versa. So I don't think you really ever need to leave. I think that in your mind you have so many other options, and there's this thought in your head that the grass is greener.
Options definitely does play a part.
We have people where this self-empowerment has now also sparked entitlement, and people think that if you struggle, that is for the weak, the poor, and the undeserving. And the craziest thing is, those who struggle typically have the most. And looking back at everything that's happening right now, we're in the microwavable era where people want to, drop a song and this is the one, right? And it's like, but back then you had to drop albums. You had to put in your work. You had to do your bid. We also have people who grab in podcast mic and think because they got one or two videos that hit 600,000 or 1 million views that they lit forever. And then they realize you need 100 more of those every 6 months. So like, the thing is that we got to this mindset that if we go through something and say that we tried, it makes it okay for us to quit. Not understanding is like, okay, you tried until you faced real adversity that was consistent, but you never broke through. Like, that's what I'm saying with the endurance. Do we have the endurance to break through? Whether it be your life, your relationship, or your job, whatever it is, maybe even your own insecurities, which is why you're seeing those same people who do not have the endurance constantly are running out of relationships every single time that they have a little bit of adversity, every single time that they feel uncomfortable. And that's the one thing that we are lacking, is the ability to embrace being uncomfortable.